Welcome, everyone. I want to call the order of the Covington City Council meeting, May 5th, 2020. I would first like to thank everybody for being here today. It's good seeing everyone on Zoom for our first meeting. And if anybody from the public is joining us, which I know we do have a few right now, we thank you for joining us. I know we on unusual times right now, and I'm hoping everybody's family and the citizens of Covington and the surrounding area are safe and healthy. That being said, I would like to again call this meeting to order, and we want to go ahead and start by a roll call, please.
Councilman Lewis. Councilman Lewis.
Present.
Councilman Botsford.
Here.
Councilman Roberts.
Here.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Here.
Councilman Verrett.
Here.
Councilwoman Weiss.
Here.
Councilman Rowling.
Here. And if you would, we're going to stand for a moment of silence and then go into the pledge. So a moment of silence, please. Mayor Mark, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag.
Mayor Mark? You have to unmute. Can I unmute you?
Yes, you can unmute.
No, I was just practicing.
Okay, here we go.
Practice.
Mayor Mark, pledge of allegiance, please.
Everybody look at the flag in Larry's frame there. Okay.
Got it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor.
It was better the first time I did it.
But that was excellent. We appreciate it very much. Okay, a couple of things real quick, just announcement related. Due to the virtual meeting, the public was given the opportunity to submit any questions or comments on any agenda item by Monday, May 4th at 4:30. And as of right now, we have no comments from the public. But if the public now is joining us live, and we appreciate you doing that, you can email any questions to council@covla.com. Please include your name and address that we know who you are. And then we'll also go ahead and make sure your question is answered during this meeting. So that being said, also, as I mentioned before, but I'll mention again before the meeting went live, also because of the virtual meeting, I'll ask that our council use their names when making a motion and second. An example of that would be motion by Lewis or second by Verrett. That way our council clerk can go ahead and record it properly. If you're not speaking, we'll appreciate if you are on mute. Just make sure to unmute when you're ready to talk. That'd be great. Okay, that being said, first off, we have the consent calendar. It's the regular minutes dated March 10th, 2020. I need a motion on the floor to adopt the consent calendar.
Motion by Weiss to adopt.
Oxford, second.
Roberts. There you go.
Okay. We got that, Bonnie?
Weiss, motion, and second by Roberts.
Okay, thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Councilman Botsford.
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
Councilman Verrett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Weiss.
Yes.
Councilman Rowling.
Yes,
Councilman Lewis.
Yes.
thank you. Okay, items to be voted on. Resolution number 2020-08, a resolution of the Covington City Council confirming the mayoral appointment of Peter Link to the Covington Historic District Commission, CHDC, for an additional term of 4 years. Mayor Mark, any comments? Oh, you muted? Okay, I should have unmuted him. You on?
No, I said it sounds good.
Okay, we appreciate that, sir. Okay, and as of now, we have no public comments on this matter. Also, anyone from the council that has a comment, we'll go down the row real quick. Councilman Lewis, Councilman Boxford, Councilman Roberts, Councilwoman Lugwin, Councilman Verrett, Councilwoman Weiss.
No comments.
No comments. Okay, we just need a motion to adopt, please.
Osford, a motion to adopt.
Roberts, second.
Is that Roberts?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verrett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Weiss,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis,
Yes.
Councilman Botsford.
Yes.
And I would like to say we thank Peter Link for his service in our community. We appreciate him wanting to go ahead and do this for another 4 years. We appreciate that. Okay, moving on. Resolution number 2020-09, a resolution of the Covington City Council confirming the memorial appointment of Peggy, I know I got that wrong. I apologize. What is it? I apologize. Desjardins. I apologize to the Covington Historic District Commission, CHDC, for additional terms of 4 years. Mayor Mark, and I know I messed up that name. I apologize. Apologize to Peggy.
Peggy, like Peter Link, Peggy Desjardins, another great person serving our community, and I request that the council approve her appointment.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. As of now, we have no public comments? No public comments. Okay, we'll go down the row for any council comments. Councilman Lewis? Councilman Boxford?
Yes, Peggy's a longtime resident of District B. She's an outstanding member of the community. She's always involved. She's involved with the St. Tammany Art Association as well. I can't speak highly enough about her, and I think she's an excellent pick for this position.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman Roberts?
Saw Peggy today, and I echo what John said. An excellent person.
Councilman Ludwig?
Love Peggy. She'll do great, as always.
Okay, I'm sorry. Councilman Verrett?
I simply echo the comments already made. Excellent choice.
And Councilman Weiss?
No comments other than it sounds like she's a winner.
Thank you. Yes, she is, and we thank Peggy for everything she does for our community. No doubt about that. Okay, I do need a motion to adopt, please.
Motion.
Motion by
Botsford.
Second by Weiss.
and second by White.
Sorry, Cody.
You're right.
Okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verrett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Weiss,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis,
Yes.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, resolution number 2020-11, a resolution of the Covington City Council confirming the appointment of Philip G. Smith as District E appointee of the Covington Planning and Zoning Commission for a term of 5 years. Councilman Verrett, do you have anything to add?
Yes, let me first thank Bert Duvik for his service on the city's Planning and Zoning Commission. He's done an outstanding job. I'd like to thank Philip Smith for offering to serve. Takes a lot to serve our community. I've been knowing Philip Smith for a long time. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. He majored in economics. He has a Juris Doctorate degree, and very active in our community along with his wife of 13 years, Virginia. So I would ask that he be approved by this council.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And again, we thank Philip for all his service to our community, and we appreciate it. That being said, 1 second, please. Mouse is on top screen. Thank you.
Motion to adopt then, or any of the council comments?
Okay, we had no public comments on that. That being said, we just need a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Verrett.
Second,
please.
Robert.
Robert, okay, thank you. A roll call, please.
Councilman Verret,
Yes.
Councilwoman Weiss,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis,
Yes.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
You know, one thing I want to add before we go on to the next thing real quick is, again, I mean, our community, we're so very lucky to have so many people engaged and making Covington what makes it so great. So again, we thank all three of those individuals to, again, giving back to our community. Okay, we're going to go right into, there's no items for discussion. We're going to go right into comments and reports, council, district, and committee reports. District A, Councilman Lewis.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the only thing I want to report in my district is, if anybody have any idea where we can find face masks, to let me know. I know the city and the fire department did some handing out of face masks, I think last week, and we ran out. So I did get a few calls or emails in regards to, if we were going to get more to hand out to the public. And that's about it.
Thank you. And maybe when the mayor's comments, he might be able to address that and give us some information on that. Moving on to District B, Botsford, Councilman Botsford.
Okay, right. One of the main things in District B going on at this time is the food bank, as usual, as you can imagine. They've kind of doubled their registrations. They registered 472 new households in the month of April. They provided 2,165 households with food. They provided 1,300 kid food packs to child participants. And their numbers are growing, especially with this pandemic going on. They've always having a shortage of different items. You can visit their Facebook page to really get a good idea of what they're missing, as well as their Instagram. And, if anybody can help, please do so. That's it for District B.
Thank you very much. Moving on to District C, Councilman Roberts.
Thank you, sir. I guess before I start, in the mayor's comments, I'd like to ask him to just address the garbage and recycling scenario. If there's any progress of when some normality will set in for recycling, and if there's a time frame that as far as phases go. In the district itself, they've been doing some road work on Highway 190 from Highway 25 to Covington High. They put in a center turn lane. The work is probably 95% complete, but it looks great, and it's definitely great for safety. So thank you for that. And then anytime I hear the word essential workers, I think medical, but the fire department and the police department of Covington have been wonderful, and our public works team has been on the ball. So thank you guys for doing all that too, because y'all are just as essential as everyone else. And I think that's it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on to District D. I just want to make sure my thing was on. I'm sorry. Moving on to District D, Councilwoman Ludwig.
Hi, yes. As you know, the hospital is in our district. So Melissa sends her updates daily, which I try to include in my newsletters that I send out. Lately, it's been more often than usual. But her update as of Monday, I didn't see the one from today yet. She might not have sent it out, but they're trying to get back to normal as well, because thankfully they are down to only 18 COVID positive patients. They have discharged 80 inpatient COVID cases. So right now their hospital census is at 142. which is, they're trying to get back to regularly scheduled non-emergency services at the hospital. So we're grateful for that and how well they've handled the influx. And thankfully, if everyone could continue with their social distancing and the CDC guidelines, then hopefully we can continue to keep those numbers down at the hospital. But so far, they've been handling it great. So that's the only main thing as far as our district goes. And of course, just the usual, no events, unfortunately, to report for now, but hopefully in the near future. I'm happy to see all the local businesses kind of starting to open their doors. I know they're slowly, allowing people back in. So we're thankful for that. And I know all of our downtown businesses and within the city limits are grateful for that as well. So nothing more to report other than thank you, Mark, for doing as much construction as possible at this time. I think it's all welcomed for once. That's
Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on to District E, Councilman Verrett.
Yes, I'd like to thank the first responders. I think with more people at home, everyone knows they've been tremendously busy. Certainly appreciate their efforts. And speaking about appreciating efforts, I echo Councilman Roberts' comments. The Public Works Department is incredible. I think they show us that day in and day out. As far as District E, the singular issue seems to be the boat launch, and I know that the mayor is going to address some of those comments this evening. But we are working on a different kind of idea on how to go about helping that, and I look forward to hearing the mayor's comments. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on, Councilwoman at Large, Weiss.
Hi, good evening. I do have a couple of statements or updates to make. I did want to also mention that after checking with the mayor, we noticed some bright pink numbers along several of the drains and a few streets back in River Forest subdivision, and happy to report that that's actually the survey and prep work that will lead to some street improvements along Lurleen. The mayor may be addressing that in his update. I just wanted to mention publicly that those bright pink numbers are a good sign of some progress yet to come. I also wanted to mention that we are fortunate in our community and that we've got a lot of businesses helping businesses, so to speak, or organizations. Obviously, you all are very aware that there are some much more greatly impacted by the pandemic than others. And to dovetail on to John's comments about the food bank needing help, one of our local businesses, Jose Bally Jewelry, and this is just an example. I would encourage you to look for other businesses doing similar activity. But Jose, for example, has created some unique pieces of jewelry related to the whole quarantine situation and has designated that 50% of those proceeds go directly to certain organizations. One is our very own food bank. So I would encourage you to support businesses helping other businesses or other organizations. And we're grateful for those in our community that have been able to do that. So hopefully Jose Bally will have a lot of good jewelry sales and be able to make a noticeable contribution to our food bank. You can certainly check his website, again, as well as other businesses. This is not a Jose Bally commercial. It's just an example of how fortunate we are that within our own community, we've got entities and organizations and businesses like that that are working to help each other. And then the last comment that I wanted to make publicly this evening is that while I certainly appreciate the value of all the various social media platforms we have, Facebook, neighborhood groups, next door neighbor, those certainly serve a worthy purpose when we're looking for recommendations for local services, lost pets, finding homes for pets. They do serve a positive purpose. I would encourage everyone in our community, though, that for conversations about issues regarding streets or repairs or progress or anything related to the city's business at hand, I cannot encourage everyone enough to sign up for the mayor's updates. It's quite simple to go to covla.com and right on the landing page, you will find the option to sign up for the mayor's email updates. I get concerned when conversations get started on some of the social media platforms regarding utility rates, and some were under the impression that there's been an increase put into place already, and not always understanding the behind the scenes work and things that are taking place. Even questions about street repairs, I would recommend those not be discussed on those social media platforms, and encourage you to use the mayor's email updates, which I personally attest to the value and information contained in those, and also to the ability to communicate directly with the city administration as well as everyone on this council. So I would ask everyone to consider signing up for the mayor's updates and using the city's website for contacting their local council folks. That's my updates. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. Very well put, and I agree that those updates are critical. Couple of things I have real quick. I know y'all covered a bunch of that. With the times that we're in right now, we know the election has been pushed back to July 11th. That's the primary, which I know there's several municipalities that are involved in the next election, and obviously we have our council at large seat. Also, I know the mayor will probably address the repairs on Boston Street and the possibility of overlaying that street. I'll let him kind of comment on that later when he has his comments. Also, I know Cody mentioned about St. Tammany Hospital. They're doing a wonderful job over there doing these trying times right now. I know the communication from them, you mentioned, from Melissa, has done a great job on that. Essential personnel in all industries have really did a great job in the grocery industry, the trucking industry, the delivery industry. So again, we appreciate them. I think it's critical for us as the citizens of Covington and the surrounding areas to support our local businesses as soon as they get up and running. I know there's some of them that are slowly getting up and running now. So I think more than ever, we want to reach out to those businesses to try to help them as much as possible. They're going to definitely need our support. So that being said, we're going to go right into administrative comments and reports. Mayor Mark, you up.
Thank you, Councilman Rowling, and thank you all of the council folk. As you may be able to tell, I'm here at Bogafalaya Park, and in just the last couple of minutes, we've had a very loud boat pass behind me and a car alarm go off. So I'd appreciate it if everybody would cross their fingers with me and hope that they've got those things under control now. I'd like to start off with mentioning that our Director of Public Works, Chris Davis, underwent some surgery yesterday. Chris is going to be out for several weeks. The reports that we have is that the surgery went well and that he's recovering. We've spoken to him yesterday and today, and he's still in that happy place after surgery. And we might be looking for some soreness in the future, but we want to know that want Chris to know that he's in our thoughts and our prayers. For Councilman Lewis, I wanted to touch base a little bit on the mask. The state of Louisiana is the one that provided the mask. They provided masks to each parish throughout the state. And St. Tammany Parish allocated Covington 3,500 masks. Our zip code, we have a population of 60,000. We did not in any way anticipate the demand for the mask that eventually happened. We set out a 3-hour window for handing out masks, and it turns out that the masks that we had on hand were distributed within about 45 minutes to an hour. Within an hour, we were supposed to open on Thursday at 9 a.m. By 8:30, the automobile line was so far back that it was becoming dangerous in the city. The fire department made the call to go ahead and open the line. And if you got in line at 8:30 for a 9 o'clock opening, you were already too late. I just don't think anybody could have expected it to be what it was. So needless to say, we're disappointed we didn't have masks for everybody that wanted them. I had made a pass 2 days earlier through your district,
and was able to pass some out to people all up and down the streets as they were walking or sitting out on their porches, as well as the iStop. I dropped some off the iStop and the Tree of Hope and asked them to be distributed there. So they did get a little bit of a head start on the rest of the community. I thought that was a fair idea. But 3,500 masks and a zip code population of 60,000 just doesn't go very far. Councilman Roberts, regarding garbage and recycle, we don't have anything to really say about that. It's just difficult to plan right now. There's so many variables. One of the trash collection companies in New Orleans today had a walkout by their workers. You know, the people, the hoppers on the back of the trucks, they're afraid. They don't want to come to work. They don't want to handle everybody else's garbage with the risk of infection. So it's extremely difficult, and we haven't heard anything about when recycling will be kicked back into place. The single day pickup on Wednesday has really worked out well. We're getting all the trash cans. None of the trash cans should be on the street again by Friday. And I don't know, maybe it's just something that my eye catches, but it's really nice on a Saturday or Sunday to ride through the city of Covington and not have trash receptacles spread all over the city. So I would ask those people who are not bringing their cans in off the street, I'd like to ask them nicely to, go ahead and on Thursday, Friday, pull those cans off. It certainly helps contribute to the peacefulness and the prettiness of our city. I'd like to thank Councilman Weiss for the nice comments and compliments on the newsletter. I do take it seriously. I do work hard on it. I try to strike a balance between giving folks what I think they really need to know and they want to know, along with maybe a little tongue in cheek here and there and a chuckle and some history. It has been very well received, and it has turned out to be an effective means of communication between us and the residents. There was a time when everything you needed to know was in the newspaper. Everyone got the newspaper. Everyone read the newspaper. Not the case anymore. So to echo your request, I do wish people would sign up for the e-blast. They seem to be well received. Regarding the month of March, here in the last yesterday or just in the last short period of time, we received from the tax collection agency what our sales tax revenue would look like for the month of March with the COVID-19 stay-at-home orders beginning to take effect. For the month of March, we had a decline in sales tax revenue of 2.2%, which is almost negligible. That's really, really exciting news. We do expect April, which is going to have a lot more impact from the stay-at-home, to be a much more significant drop. But that's a good sign that we only had a 2% drop in sales tax revenue. Regarding the Minnetree boat launch, or sometimes known as Fourth Avenue boat launch, has been on my radar since actually before I took office. There was a plan that was presented by the previous administration, rather elaborate plan on what to do down there. Residents came out. I attended that meeting, and it was clear, and I kind of concurred with the residents, that we really did not want to make the Fourth Avenue launch an attractive nuisance to speak of. We did have a parking problem down there, and I got with Chris Davis with Public Works, and we put in some new lines. We cleared out some areas. We created a space where individual cars could park, which freed up more spaces for boat trailers. As spring has approached, I have been monitoring all the parks and all the boat launches on a daily basis, and on the weekends, typically multiple times per day, and saw the increase in traffic. What has happened with the stay-at-home order is that weekdays have now become similar to weekends, and weekends have become similar to holidays. So we're seeing a lot more traffic down to the boat launch. We're seeing a lot more parking issues and a lot more trash dropped off in our trash barrels. I got with Chief, and he was able to put some enforcement along Yankee and Fourth Avenue, and we had quite a few warnings written, quite a few tickets written, and quite a few people stopped. I get those ratios every day, every 12-hour shift, and I actually screenshotted them and sent them back to him and said, I really, really like what you're doing here, because let's say they made 15 traffic stops, about 5 of them, nothing happened, 5 got warnings and 5 got tickets. So it's not like they're sitting there writing up every single person coming down Janky, and it's not like they're just letting people go willy-nilly. So I kind of like that ratio. I like the fact that they're out there proactively policing, but at the same time not being overbearing. We're going to we pick up trash down at the park on Fridays and Mondays, and we're going to increase that to Friday, Monday, and Wednesday, at least during the stay-at-home order. And we're going to add some more trash barrels down there. So we think that'll help with that problem. The other thing that we had planned for Memorial Day is that we're going to introduce the idea of a monitor. We're going to have I call it the launch ranger. And we're going to have a ranger down at the Minetry Park. The busiest time is between about noon and 4. Noon and 12 are actually the same thing, so that wouldn't make sense. Between noon and 4 or 11 and 3. And that's when the recreational fishermen are leaving the river, but the wreck boaters and the jet skiers are coming into the river. And so we're going to have somebody down there on Saturdays and Sundays directing traffic, directing parking, please don't put your fish guts in the trash barrel, those kind of things. And they'll be backed by PD. The lieutenant on shift will come down, check with the monitor. The monitor will have the lieutenant's phone number. And so if we need to, we can address issues more quickly. I really am not in favor of increasing more restrictions, regulations, registrations, or creating a bureaucracy, simply because if you're not, you still have to enforce it. And if we're not enforcing what we have now, there's no point in creating another bureaucracy or more regulations. But I am excited about this monitor idea, and I think it's going to pay dividends. So we're going to be starting that up, if not this weekend, the following weekend, or as soon as we can get that taken care of. Some infrastructure updates. The repair of the sewer lines in downtown Covington have been completed, the actual repair of the sewer lines themselves, the broken sewer lines. Obviously, each one of those was backfilled with asphalt. We all know that the asphalt's bumpy, the holes are dippy. There's two choices there. You can backfill during construction with rocks, or you can backfill with cold mix asphalt. Cold mix asphalt is actually a better choice. It's a more expensive choice, and that's what we decided to go with, and that's what we've done. But that is strictly a temporary patch. That is not in any way going to be the basis of what's going to be there in the future. The beginning Monday, yesterday, the contractor began doing the sidewalk repairs. So they fixed the sewer lines. Now they're doing the sidewalk repairs. Once they finish that, they will come back and do the permanent street repair. The permanent street repair is going to be done with a hot mix asphalt. And rather than being hand packed and then being packed by automobiles passing over it, it's going to be done with a roller, one of the big pieces of equipment that are going to compact that in. And I met with the contractor on Thursday, and I think we're going to be pleased with the finished product. Hopefully we'll be pleased. It's still going to be a patch, but we really have to continue to focus on our subterranean infrastructure, on our sewer lines, our lift stations, and our water lines, and then our drainage, before we go back and just think that we're going to put a coating of asphalt over a street and make everything better. The first thing to fix is the sewer lines, water lines, drainage, and the last thing we do will be the streets. That said, the Boston Street and downtown are going to be patched properly. As Councilman Weiss mentioned, the survey work is being conducted on behalf of the engineering firm that's tasked with the design of Lurleen Drive and having it replaced and repaired. And so you can see markings out there, so that's moving along. Work on 11th Avenue Bridge continues. The completion date still remains to be late August. 15th Avenue Bridge between Tyler Street and Jefferson has been completed. We had a few dollars left over, so we were able to add the sidewalk component to the edge of the bridge. It's you can say it's a sidewalk to nowhere, but the long-term plans are a sidewalk from Tyler Street to Jefferson, and it makes a lot more sense for us to do this now while we're building the bridge than to have to come back and try to do it later. Our overlay project for 2020 is pretty much complete. I think one of the better places to see that would be 15th Avenue from Minetry Drive to Hubie Gallagher Park, up in that area, and also on Tyler Street from 23rd to Columbia. Certainly feels good driving down those streets. And finally, I would say that at Nose Park, some of the residents there had brought some issues to our attention, particularly the pavilion, which is the overview right by the river. And Aaron Dowdery, our park ranger, not park ranger, director of park maintenance, did a really, really good job. If you go down by Nose Park and you visit the pavilion now, he's made some great repairs on where there were a couple of spots that were rough and in need of some craftsmanship. They pressure washed the pavilion and it really, really looks good. We've got some other plans for Nose Park and hopefully we can kind of bring it along line. Happy to answer any questions.
Mark, first off, I want to say that, I ride my bike all throughout the city. I know you see me all around. And I got to say, big kudos about the boat launch. Good riding down there. It looks fantastic. I mean, it looks so much better and cleaner than I think it's ever looked. It's great. Also, I've noticed with the police presence step up there that I don't get run over. People don't try to run me over as much. So, but being said that, one thing I'd like you to do possibly is that I forgot to bring up earlier is kind of let everybody know what you told me about the cypress trees and all that over there by the trailhead. That's it for me.
So we had on the, I'll call it the pavilion, the little covered area at the trailhead, the Covington trailhead that separates the stage area from the gravel parking lot. There were some cypress trees there that had grown nicely. They were beautiful, but they had a lot of knees popping up out of the soil. And it had been brought to my attention a few months ago that the cypress knees right there were a real hazard during the Rock and the Rails or whatever events we were having. As people moved back and forth from the trailhead to that gravel parking lot, people were tripping, and I actually saw it. I made 3 visits there. I'm not a big fan of cutting down trees unless there's a real reason. And I made 3 visits there with 3 different sets of people. And without asking any leading questions, I just kind of, what do you think of this? I don't know. Do you think it's a... And the conclusion was everybody agreed that this is a hazard. Somebody is going to trip on one of these knees, hit their forehead on another knee, and we've been put on notice. And we're going to have a problem with that. So it was reluctantly I agreed that the trees had to go, and then the knees themselves had to be ground out. I think we're going to come back in with some sod. And I received an email from former Mayor Candace Watkins, who was, those were kind of her babies. And of course, she was disappointed. She understood once I explained. And then her question to me was, would it be possible that we could replace them with trees without knees? I thought that was funny.
Mayor, I do have a quick question. The timeline, if you had the best guess timeline on Boston Street to kind of have the road a little bit more smooth, I know you mentioned that's coming. If you had a best guess, when do you think that might happen?
I don't do time estimates on construction projects. I've built too many things over my lifetime. My life experience says if you give an estimate and it's right, it wasn't an estimate. If you give an estimate, it's too long, people are disappointed. The contractor has been moving along very well. They did not show up right after the stay-at-home order. That did require some nudging on behalf by the administration. We did that. We got them out there. I'm very pleased with how much work they're doing. You ride out there. I check them. I'm out there daily, passing by, and they're working and they're doing their job. So we've been very pleased with them. But I don't want to put anybody under the gun. I don't want to say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's finished next week, or it's finished 5 weeks from now.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council for the mayor? Okay, that being said, we'll move on. Erin, anything tonight? Nothing tonight. We glad you're
I'm
with us.
good. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Rodrigue, anything tonight?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, with that being said, I think our meeting went very well for our first Zoom meeting. Not sure what's going to happen in June. We'll make a final decision when it gets a little bit closer for our June meeting. I think everybody did a wonderful job tonight. I know we experiencing unusual times. Covington's going to get through this. I know they will. It's a strong community. We need to keep safe and healthy And again, I know Covington is going to fare well with this. Hopefully, this time next month, it's going to be a smoother issue for the whole city and the St. Tammany Parish and the whole region. So that being said, y'all have a great evening, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you.